A mafia boss and his family are relocated to a quiet French town under witness protection after snitching on the mob. Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a comedy crime from 2013 titled The Family. Rocco, a hitman for the Mafia, mistakenly kills a family of 4, thinking they are the Manzoni family. He sends the father's finger to his boss, Don Lucchese, who is in jail. When the fingerprints show it's the wrong family, Rocco is told to keep searching. The actual Manzoni family, under FBI protection, is relocating from the USA to Normandy, France. Meet Giovanni, a mafia boss, along with his wife Maggie, their kids Belle and Warren, and their dog Malavita. They're always on the move and changing names, because Don Lucchese, a rival mafia boss, wants revenge. Years ago, Giovanni snitched on Lucchese, putting him in prison. Now Lucchese's men are hunting Giovanni down for payback. The family arrives at their new house late at night. Giovanni restores power and lights a fire. While pretending to explore the property, he secretly buries a body from his car trunk in the backyard. The next morning, everyone gets ready for a fresh start. Maggie goes to town to find activities, but learns from a cafe waitress that it's a small town with not much to do. After visiting the convenience store for groceries, Maggie hears the clerk and some customers insulting Americans, thinking she doesn't understand French. Angered, she grabs alcohol and a gas tank, throws them into the storeroom, and lights a match before quickly paying for her groceries. She leaves just before her trap explodes. Later, Maggie has lunch at a fast food spot and grabs people's attention by being noisy with her soda. She also visits a church and befriends the priest. Meanwhile, Belle and Warren start their new school. Warren gets smart with the school bullies, and they end up beating him up in the bathroom. During lunch, he catches up with his sister, sharing all the school gossip he's gathered. He's plotting to form a small mafia group there. After school, Belle heads home, but 4 teenage boys in a car start following her, inviting her to hang out. Initially hesitant, Belle eventually accepts the ride when she gets lost in town. However, instead of taking her home, they take her to a spot by the lake where teenagers usually hang out. Belle asks them to take her home, but the leader tells her to stay and relax before lowering the strap of her dress. Refusing to let them off the hook, Belle goes back to the car, grabs a tennis racket, and uses it to confront the boy. After giving him a sound beating, she sternly advises the others to show more respect towards women. Belle then takes charge, driving the boy's car back home. Meanwhile, Giovanni heads to the property gate for a forbidden cigarette. He soon spots hidden FBI agents watching him and decides to return inside. Curiosity leads him to explore the glass garden shed. After clearing it out, he discovers a functional typewriter. Seeing an opportunity, he decides it's time to start writing his memoir, describing how he inherited the family business from his grandfather decades ago. When he takes a break, he meets his neighbor in the adjoining backyards and crafts a tale about being a writer when asked about his profession. Later during dinner, Robert Stansfield, the FBI agent leading their case, pays a visit. After endorsing Giovanni's writer cover story, Stansfield inquires about a missing shop owner. Giovanni falsely claims that he doesn't know anything, but in reality, he killed the shop owner for selling him fresh seafood that turned out to be frozen. This is the same body he had in the trunk upon arrival. Stansfield cautions Giovanni to steer clear of trouble, and as he departs, informs him that DiCicco and Mimo will be the FBI agents safeguarding him from the neighboring house. Giovanni later joins his wife in bed, only to have a nightmare about a barbecue party from years ago when Lucchese decided to strike. The next day, as Giovanni gets engrossed in his writing, Maggie insists on knowing the content. When she learns it's a memoir, she panics, fearing potential trouble. She prepares a special tray of food for DiCicco and Mimo and leaves to deliver it to them. Before going, she urges Giovanni to check the tap water, which is discolored, and awaiting the plumber who hasn't arrived despite her call. At school, Warren is skillfully building connections by leveraging information and pilfered items to recruit people for his endeavors. Meanwhile, Belle finds herself in a bathroom altercation, having to confront a girl who stole her pencil case. In the cafeteria, she notices a handsome guy, Henri, whom Warren reveals is a college student substituting for the math class. Aware of the competition for Henri's attention, Belle devises a plan. She approaches him after class, requesting private math lessons, a proposal that Henri willingly accepts. Meanwhile, Warren confronts his bullies outside the school, and with the assistance of his new connections, manages to beat them up. Inside the house, the plumber arrives more than 40 minutes late, annoying Giovanni. Things take a turn for the worse when the plumber suggests changing all the pipes in the house without much reason. Frustrated, Giovanni uses tools from the basement to beat up the plumber. After the altercation, he places the plumber's injured body in the van and takes him to the hospital. The doctor is puzzled by the numerous fractures, given the explanation that it was a simple fall down the stairs. As Rocco searches for Giovanni's information, he discovers the family of the seafood shop owner, but kills them as they don't have the details he needs. Meanwhile, Giovanni continues writing his memoir, reminiscing about his good deeds in his old Brooklyn neighborhood. In the evening, Maggie scolds him for the plumber incident, and Giovanni counters by bringing up her convenience store explosion Maggie caused. Their discussion about Maggie's fascination with fire sparks Giovanni's excitement, leading to an intimate moment for the couple right there on the couch. On the weekend, the family hosts a barbecue party, reluctantly inviting the neighbors, as Stansfield suggested to help integrate into the community. Maggie, concerned about Belle's guest Henri, advises her to use protection. Belle reassures her, saying she won't be having a quickie in a classroom, but will choose the right time and place with her true love. Warren, arriving with soda, suggests ditching French cuisine for American dishes, and it turns out to be a good call. The neighbors, eager to meet the eccentric Yankees, happily devour the unconventional food. Even DeChico and Mimo get a break from their watch duty to join the festivities. The only person missing from the party is Giovanni, and Belle discovers him in the garden shed. Writing his life story has made him reflect on his role as a father, feeling regret for putting his children in difficult situations. Belle disagrees, expressing that she sees him as the best dad. In a better mood, Giovanni joins the party, but becomes irritated when the neighbors try to teach him how to start a grill fire. He imagines all the ways he would torture them for their rudeness, but is saved from doing anything foolish when Stansfield arrives. In private, Stansfield tells Giovanni that the White House is concerned about the book he's writing, fearing it could cause problems for many people. Giovanni reassures him, saying he's writing it for personal reasons and doesn't intend to make it public. He also mentions that Giovanni's past cooperation by informing on Lucchese has been excellent publicity for the FBI. Nowadays, more members of Giovanni's former Mafia gang are offering information in exchange for protection, seeking a safer life. After the party, Belle feels let down that Henri didn't come. The next day, Giovanni visits the mayor to address the brown water issue, but the mayor has no solution. Giovanni imagines getting violent but refrains, leaving the office without causing any trouble. He then goes to the water company, where he discovers the water arrives dirty to their reserves. A worker there hints at the cause being a local fertilizer factory. Giovanni goes to the factory, and when the unhelpful and rude boss refuses assistance, Giovanni ties him to the back of his car and drags him down the road until he's willing to confess. The boss guides Giovanni on how to locate the turbine that needs deactivation for clean water. Now armed with the necessary information, Giovanni leaves the boss in the middle of the road with his bike, warning of severe consequences if he ever shares what happened. When Giovanni gets back home, he discovers Stansfield reading his memoir. Although Stansfield likes it, he scolds Giovanni for writing it in the first place. Meanwhile, Maggie keeps going to the church, and the priest persuades her to do a confession, assuring her that everything is confidential. However, Maggie reveals such disturbing things that haunt the priest for a week. As a result, he forbids her from entering his church ever again. At school, Warren forgets to write something for the school paper as promised. With only 5 minutes left, he quotes Lucchese from when he met him as a boy. The newspaper circulates widely, and somehow it reaches Lucchese's cell. He recognizes the quote and sends his men to Normandy to finally locate Giovanni. After class, Belle visits Henri at his place, and they end up making love after she locks the door. In the evening, Giovanni receives a call from a neighbor who attended the barbecue, inviting him to a monthly community film event. They watch a movie and discuss it afterward. Since the next film is an American classic, they want Giovanni to guide the debate with his expertise as a writer. Giovanni agrees, but Stansfield shows up moments later to express how terrible of an idea it is, as the FBI monitors all his calls. Giovanni disagrees with Stansfield's concerns and sees the community film event as a great way to show they're fitting in. He convinces Stansfield to join him at the event. The next day, Warren's illicit activities are uncovered by the school board, prompting him to rush home for money and fake documents. He plans to escape to Paris and start his own illegal business, following in his father's footsteps. Before leaving, he bids farewell to his sister, who is upset because she has fallen in love with Henri. However, for Henri, she was just a fling, and now that he has graduated, he plans to live in Paris as well. Giovanni leaves a doll on his seat at home to trick the FBI into thinking he's there. He sneaks out to plant a bomb on the turbine, causing the brown water. Later, he meets Stansfield, and they go to the film event, where they find out they'll be watching Goodfellas. Stansfield thinks it's an even worse idea now, but Giovanni insists that leaving before the movie starts would be even more suspicious. After the movie, Giovanni is asked to share insights about real New York. Unable to resist, he starts sharing stories about his life as a mafia boss, but the audience assumes it's fiction. Stansfield disapproves, thinking Giovanni is out of control. Believing things are going downhill, Stansfield calls DiCicco and Mimo, instructing them to gather the family and initiate Plan B. Warren is at the train station, ready to head to Paris, while Belle is on a house roof, calling Henri and threatening self-harm if he doesn't take her back. Suddenly, both siblings spot a group of Mafia hitmen entering town. Concerned, they decide to return home to alert their parents. This urgency increases when Warren tries calling them, but gets no answer, as Maggie couldn't reach the phone in time. The hitmen eliminate everyone in the police station, use records to find Giovanni's address, and also attack the firefighters while disabling their trucks. Maggie, worried about her children, joins DiCicco and Mimo to inquire about them since they aren't at home. Meanwhile, an explosion occurs in the city. It's the bomb Giovanni had set, time to create an alibi using the film event. Stansfield drives Giovanni home, cautioning him not to leave as he heads to talk to the police. Maggie intends to go home, but upon stepping outside, she spots the mysterious men in black. She retreats indoors with DiCicco and Mimo. Attempting to call her husband, she finds no answer. The hitmen reach the house and cause it to explode, taking the lives of any neighbors who venture out to investigate the noise. Fortunately, Giovanni survives by hiding in the garden, alerted by Malavita's barking. Maggie wants to check on Giovanni, but as DiCicco and Mimo approach the door, a hitman kills them instantly. The hitman threatens Maggie, but Giovanni arrives just in time. He tackles the hitman, strangling him from behind, while Maggie finds a knife and stabs their attacker. While the hitmen are distracted investigating the house ruins and arguing about what to do with the dog, Warren and Belle arrive. They sneak into the hitmen's cars, stealing some weapons from the trunks. A gunfight erupts, with Warren and Belle successfully eliminating most hitmen except Rocco. Warren gets knocked unconscious by the recoil, and Belle, leaving him on the ground, attempts to escape, counting on Rocco running out of bullets. Surprisingly, Rocco persists and pursues her until Stansfield suddenly arrives, running over Rocco with his car. Though the hitmen are all defeated, the family's identity is exposed, forcing them to relocate once more with new names. Despite this, Giovanni finds solace in having shared his story with an audience, even if they believed it to be fiction. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.